I sat with Grandmother Ayahuasca and 2 days of Grandfather Huachuma San Pedro. So before I get into it, this is my medical claim that I am not a doctor or a physician. I am not telling anyone what they should or should not do. In fact, the word should was the only word that made me want to everywhere. So just let's vomit that word out of our vocabularies. I will be sharing more of a story around that. So I'm going to be real with you guys. I was very resistant, especially to ayahuasca for many, many, many years. If you guys have been listening to my podcast, it was like something that I was like, maybe one day I would sit with, but it was not something I was calling in. If anything, I was deeply afraid of it. I was afraid of losing control. And I was afraid of feeling something scary, something dark, feeling sadness. I was especially afraid that it would take me into my grandmother's forced child marriage and that I would have to relive that, which sounded like the scariest thing ever. So I actually first sat with ayahuasca, but it was like in a different kind of ceremony. And it was like a lower dose of the ayahuasca in combination of other plants a little bit more than a year ago. And that was my first experience with her. And when I felt her energy, I'm going to say her because it has its own consciousness. You know, every plant has its own consciousness. You can talk to the consciousness of the rose. And the rose will teach you about beauty, but also boundaries of the thorn. You can speak to the consciousness of Damiana, which will teach you about pleasure. You can speak to the consciousness of frankincense, which will teach you a lot about protection. So every plant has its own consciousness, and including ayahuasca, which is actually a combination of two different vines. So it's a vine like, so if you think about the energy of the vine, it's like moving. It's kind of like snake-like. So when I first experienced it last year, she appeared to me as this Thai goddess with these long Thai fingernails like this. And she was dripping in gold and she was so beautiful. And I was awed. I had so many questions for her. And she was like, if you have questions for me, you've got to sit with me by myself. And she answered like one question, but it was very vague. I could feel her, but it was like far away. And I knew that I want to sit with this medicine, but in divine time. For me, I'm such an empath. I'm very energy sensitive and also a channel. So my gift is I'm very open to feeling energy. And that can also be the shadow of it, of if I'm in a room with a lot of people, I'm picking up on everyone's energy, even just in this realm, let alone on plant medicine. So I knew I needed to be in a very, very small group of really all people who are like working in spirituality, who are also channels and shamans and mystics, just because we're all very energy sensitive. And I need to personally sit with people who have done a lot of shadow work. Because again, if I'm sitting in a circle with someone and they're having their like dark night of the soul, I know my energy body would start like doing all this healing work on them, and I wouldn't really be able to do my own inner work. So I was very specific. I wanted to be really around women where I would feel safe. I knew I wanted to do it with indigenous elders, people from the lineage unbroken, and I wanted to do it in the lands where the medicines are native and really be in right relation, and also with a facilitator that I know and have built a long-term relationship with and trust and have worked with outside of the medicine. So I had a lot of speculations, and I say this because everyone's journey to the medicine needs to be specific to them. And it's like a mystery school, you know? It's not like I will never say, everyone go to this place or everyone go sit with that person or that. That's like telling everyone, I was in a great relationship with this person, so y'all should be in a relationship with this person too. Who I might be in the best relationship with might not be who you would be in the best relationship, and vice versa. And, different stages of your life, it may be different people in different circles. So I also believe that if you are called to the medicine, it's your journey of finding the medicine that prepares you for it. So if you've never done inner work, especially deep shadow work is going into your subconscious. It's going into your fear, your anger, your shame, your disgust, your greed, all of the things you dislike about yourself, owning the parts of you that are what you don't like in the world, and sitting with the childhood traumas, ancestral traumas, past life traumas that are passed on intergenerationally and show up in patterns in our lives until we are brave enough to address them and go to the bottom of them. And without any medicine, that's the spiritual journey right there. To look at everything showing up in your life and really start to get curious and ask why. So after my divorce, my life really became shadow work. And for a year and a half, that was my full-time focus of really going in, really questioning my beliefs, feeling all my feelings. And that's where I created my Triple E method, which is, I highly recommend it for everyone. I'll even share it. I was doing this method on the medicine when I was feeling a lot of big things. So the Triple E method stands for emote, embody, and express. So emote, feel your feelings, feel the rage, the sadness, the anger, the disgust. Feel where it is in your body, cry it, grunt it, punch pillows, fall on the ground, like whatever it is that needs to be fully expressed to its full range. Embody, now feel where it is in your body. Does it have a color, a texture? Where is it? You can even take it out, have a conversation with it. And then start to use your body to feel what you want to feel. So if I'm feeling loneliness and that feels like this, and I want to feel held, which feels like this, I'm leaning back. How can I embody what it feels like to be held? Well, maybe I can lie down on the earth and feel that I am being held by Gaia. Maybe I can hug myself and squeeze my arms and kiss my shoulders and feel that I'm being held by myself. Maybe I can dance and just feel how I'm connected and held by life. So by embodying what I'm calling in, and then I express through sending a voice note to myself, to a friend, to writing a poem, writing a song. That's how my music journey began. I began producing music and writing poetry and dropped a whole album called My Body is an Altar just by doing this method on myself. You can coach someone, you can have a conversation, you can create art, you can paint, you can sculpt, you can, so many forms of expression out there, just to let this energy and the gifts, the siddhi, the highest form of it, be felt and expressed. So this is the method I recommend for everyone, and it's something I teach at Highest Self Institute, my school. So if you're interested in our embodiment 3-month certification, or you want to try my daily embodiment practice for free, you can head over to the show notes. So just like pause right now, head over to the show notes, get the daily embodiment practice, join the waitlist for our embodiment certification. And that's a really great place to start. And honestly, like pretty much gives you the same experience as plant medicine, but while you're here in this reality, which is actually what the real school is. Because we're here as humans living on Earth. So it's not about us living in 5D all the time. If it was meant to be that way, we would be that way. We're not. We're here, and it's a little ghetto right now, but we're working on it. But we're here to bring that consciousness and that frequency, and it comes through transmutation. It comes through purification. It comes through releasing everything that we are not, so we can step into who we are.